Hey guys, can you hear me okay?
Yep, I hear you good, Shan.
Okay, awesome. Make sure that we're going to have an essence. Okay, so let's see if we can get anybody else on. If not, we'll see if everybody's watching. So tonight I was going to move forward in what Bob Heilig had taught me with, cross-selling and actually turning conversations into transformational ways of making people feel valuable and, seeing where it would go. But I want to go back to something because something happened over the weekend that really made me stop and listen to what's going on in our culture and in our businesses. And a lot of it has to do with value, value of how we are making our customers feel valuable, how we are making our team feel valuable, how we are feeling valued, right? Because I mean, we have thousands of people in our group, and the people who show up are usually the ones who go up, and they're usually the ones who are at their business. And so there's questions sometimes where I'm like, do they even value it because they don't show up, right? Um, so I think I'm just gonna be speaking from the heart tonight because there's just a lot of things that are in my mind. But first of all, have any of you guys gone through and talked to your customers and gone ahead and rated them with the chart that we did last time? Have any of you guys done that yet? Where you've gone back so many months and you've decided, what kind of customer they are, when the last time you talked to them. I can put it in the chat or you can just open up your thing. And here we go. Because I know we talked last time and that was kind of our homework. I was talking to some people this past weekend about this and some other people that have been in the group with me, and they said that they hadn't done it. And I asked them why, because I did it right away because I was excited because I wanted to kind of see where things were leaking. What just happened? That was really weird. Hold on. What just happened? Stop. I have no idea what just happened. Hold on.
I just came on. Um,
That didn't.
New to the Apple world. It says your screen sharing. Stop share. I don't know.
Oh, wait, stop share. There you go.
I have no idea.
That's
I think it
okay.
was
All
me.
right.
Sorry.
That's okay. Anyway, so I wanted to see where things were leaking. Where was I losing my customers? Where did I need to improve? And I've been, diving into things that I'm passionate about in the horse world and things. And I had a customer this last weekend, not even a customer, it was a case study. And I feel like this is important because I feel like it definitely applies here. And I went to do a massage on the horse, and then afterwards there were some things that happened, and I got in touch with my mentor and answered all her questions, and she wrote me back and said, wow, you are a great student, because not many students will go back to their mentor and ask, where did I go wrong? Because that's the first thing I did. Was I wrote my mentor and I said, here's what this lady's saying about this horse. What did I do wrong? What could I have done better? Could this have done that? Did this do that? I immediately wanted to take on the ownership of if something happened, and it ended up being something really, really, really good that was happening. I just didn't know it until I went back and had to go and evaluate what had happened. So in our businesses, it's the same way. I will go to my customers knowing I have to have a thick skin and say to them, hey, are you happy with my service? Are you happy with your product? And not just happy with your product, because I had to go through and there were some hard conversations I had to have where it said, hey, I will send you a catalog. What's your address? And then I went back and saw their address and it said 2021, where I never even sent them one. So when I messaged them back again, I was just like, I just opened up my message and saw that I never sent you a catalog, and I am really sorry for that. If you don't have a Scentsy consultant, may I send you one this time around? We just got them. They're like, oh yeah, no problem. I was actually going to contact you because I wanted some new scents. I hadn't had any in a long time. Or there are people who have been like, no, no, thank you. I have a Scentsy consultant now. But the one thing that's really important is going back and every conversation you had. I mean, go in your Facebook Messenger, go into your text, go into your workstation and pull up those people and go and look at the last conversation you had with them. Do not just message them, hey, how's it going? How's life? Blah, blah, blah. Because if you left it on a note to where they were expecting something from you and they didn't get it, well, they're probably be like, oh, she probably won't send it again anyway, right? Hold on, let me fix this. I don't know why this is doing that. Hold on one sec. Where'd it go? Okay. Okay. Anyway, so I wanted to go back and I wanted to talk about value. And I want you guys to put in the chat, or you can open it up, because this is where we're just going to be vulnerable for a minute, because at World Tour, it was really, really good. I don't know how many of you guys have gone and to other ones, or, you know, if you went to ours, and some of you guys might have some aha moments, but it really focused on customers and booking and some of the scripts that we can even use. I think that Coco said things like, hey girl, wow, you must really be obsessed with Scentsy. Have you ever considered doing what I do? Because you made this much. And that's great. Those scripts are really good whenever you already have a good relationship. But if I were to send that to someone from 2019 and I dropped the ball, I don't think it would have been received that way. And with all the conversations and the transformational things that we're learning through Bob, you don't want to send those kind of things if you don't have a foundation already built with them, right? So let's brainstorm for a second together. And I want you to think about, how can you add value to your customers? And I want you to think of some customers that you have, and I want you to put it in your chat. What is something that you could do? And I'm not talking about Scentsy. I'm not talking about, hey, let me get you a new catalog. What is something you could do? And you could easily say something about someone in particular. You know, I saw the other day that this girl needed some clothes. And my kids have outgrown them. And I messaged her. I knew I needed to contact her for Scentsy. I knew I did, but the last thing I wanted to do was contact her Scentsy. And I was just like, hey, I saw that you needed some clothes for the church. My kids just outgrew them. Where can I drop them off? And it opened up a conversation. 3 or 4 conversations later, she's like, hey, when you drop off the clothes, could you bring me a catalog? But she was like, thank you for thinking about me. I really appreciate it. So I know that she's more of an acts of service kind of person, right? So tell me, what is something that you have done for your customers that has added value to them? I'm watching the chat. Or you can open up your screen and talk about it. Trying to watch on here too. Can y'all think of anything that you've done? Because that's a really big part of your business. Huge. I have one customer, her name's Miss Janet. I can't drop anything on her porch. She wants to see me and she wants to talk to me and she wants to know how life is and she wants to tell me about her life. So I know adding value to her is sitting and talking to her, because she's had 3 back surgeries, a toe surgery, an ankle surgery. I know all her stuff because she tells me, but that's something that I know I add value to, because I don't know how many people would go in there and actually talk to Miss Janet, right? And then I have another lady who absolutely loves, loves, loves coffee. And my sister lives somewhere near a place that she likes their kind of coffee. It's some kind of rifle, something, Black Rifle, I think. Anyway, so when I see my sister, I'll get some and I'll drop it off to her. And she just loves it. And she's constantly buying, not just because I'm giving her coffee, but because I know when I'm there, I'm helping her out. So she doesn't have to go to Raleigh to go get it, right? I brought my customer Dunkin' Donuts who are working and could not leave. That's awesome. I love that. I drop off a goodie bag with crossword and adult coloring books. She was in a bad wreck and has to have another surgery tomorrow. Also put in a favorite treats. I love that. Called and left a message because she did not answer that I was, you might have to tell me that one. I haven't, because I pretty much, okay, that was from a minute ago. Oh, in the area and dropped by. She was just sad, needed a friend to chat with, readjusted her aroma and showed her again how to see. I mean, that is adding value. That is exactly how people need value. And you know what's weird is that, oh, somebody said I gave my customers gummy bear jar filled with candy for Valentine's Day. Um, some of you guys went to World Tour and you got little heart bracelets from me. I put those in every one of my customers' envelopes this month because it was only one stamp with a Valentine's card to them. And I know that a lot of them aren't going to get things for Valentine's. For my widows, I actually gave them a fragrance flower. And some of the girls that I know have been recently divorced that are very, very depressed, just to say happy Valentine's Day. So I try and do things like that because I want them to know I care, right? So I think you guys are getting the idea here. That's when they're going to refer you. You know, that is whenever they're going to even ask if they can help. I will go and do an event sometime, and I have a customer named Melanie that was like, hey, are you going to do that event at the convention center? And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, oh, what do you think you'll have, like Mystery Man? I'm like, yeah. And she goes, can I bring you anything to eat? Because I know you're going to have a really long day. And I honestly look forward to that show because I know I'm going to see Melanie. I know she's going to bring me something. She's going to offer to bring me something. Normally, I'll just order it so she can pick it up because I don't want her paying for it. But it's just incredible. I had one lady come up to me at a show in, I don't even know where I was, beach maybe. And she was like, hey, I got something for you. I don't want you to cry. And I was like, okay. And it was an ornament with my horse's picture in it. Then I had another lady that messaged me and sent me this really nice card with a bookmark, and it had a horse on it. And I never hear from some of these people. When I go back and I look at the conversations I've had with them, and one of them I might have prayed for one time. One of them I went and picked something up for her because she couldn't get to go where she was needing to go. So I'm looking and it's coming back full circle, right? Met a friend for lunch, but thought lunch for us and went to focus the time to talk because she needed it. That's good. You know, one of the best things you can do is when you're actually talking to someone who actually buys Scentsy from you, if you don't talk to them about Scentsy. You're just like, how is life? I don't even want to talk about Scentsy right now. And you can even say that. I don't even want to talk about Scentsy right now. I want to know, how are you? How are you handling having an empty nest? How are you handling being a new mom? How are you handling the kids just going to school for the first time? How are you handling things since the loss that you had in your family? You know, how are you handling things? That's how I did a lot of things whenever we were, shut down for a while. And then when we came back into the real world and started connecting, and how are you handling things? You know, is there anything I can do for you? And I believe that is why my business stayed afloat during that time, because I wanted to know what I could do for other people. So now I want you to think about, how do you feel value? I want you to write that in there. What are things that someone does for you that makes you feel valued? So write it in the chat. And you guys can write on the Facebook page too, if anybody's listening on Facebook. Acts of service. What kind of acts of service? I want you to be really detailed. I want you to really think about it. I'll share mine while I'm waiting for everybody to share, because we should have everyone on here. Acts of service is definitely something for me. If someone shows up and just sees that I have a mess all the way around me and they just start helping me pick up, or they just say, hey, where can I help? That's huge for me. Like I said, when people are saying thinking about me, I know I'm a big acts of service person. I'm not a words of affirmation person. I do not receive it very well because that's something I'm still working on, because I don't like to talk about myself. And that's something that I'm working on. I mean, I think Melissa Gratz was at a world tour. I don't know if it was yesterday, I think it was. And I was watching her on stage, and she said her biggest accomplishment has been watching her team grow and watching everybody else hit all these accolades and everything that she once hit or she still hit. But she said that she didn't earn the trip, and that her daughter was like, Mom, why didn't you earn the trip? And she was just like, well, I just didn't this time. I didn't, have enough points. And she goes, well, did so and so earn it? Did so and so earn it? And she starts like naming all her friends that always go on the trips. Some of them did, some of them didn't. But she said, being on the other side of that and being able to be the cheerleader and being able to see just what has come from her just saying yes to the business has been absolutely huge, because she didn't have to stand up there and say, hey, I'm Melissa Grass. She said, oh, I know what it was. She had 3 different things. If I can find it, I'll share it. But she said she has 3 things in her office that absolutely mean the world to her. The first thing was whenever there was a newspaper that was back in the 90s, whenever she played softball in school, and the town had written up, something about her playing softball. And she said that is who made her who she is today, with understanding how to work as a team. The next thing was a letter that Orville had written her whenever she was nominated for Shining Star. She did not get it that year, but she was nominated. And she read the letter and said that she knew at that moment that she had at least made it to where she was making a difference in other people's lives. She didn't even have the letter where she got Shining Star. It was the letter that she did not get Shining Star. And then the last thing that she had was a thing that her kids had drawn for her to let her know that she had made it. So she was like, I used to measure my worth by, worldly things and the trips that I got and this, that, and the other. But then I started looking at the differences I was making and the relationships that I had. And I was like, that is me. And she doesn't like to talk about herself. And I don't like to talk about myself. So I realized that when someone says to me, oh my gosh, that was so great, that was so amazing, that I'm like, oh, thank you, because I don't like to talk about it. But I do realize at the same time that when someone is saying, hey, that's great, that's amazing, if I don't acknowledge it and be like, gosh, thank you so much for saying that, then it's actually an insult to them too. So that's something I'm working on. So I know I'm not words of affirmation. Calls me out of the blue. Yeah. I'm reading some. Offers me coffee when she sees me and gives me a hug for no reason. Go to bonus daughter's house to drop off kiddos. Bonus daughter was not there. Just started to pick up miscellaneous, load the dishwasher. It just like means a ton. What else? You guys tell me, because some of you guys haven't put it in here. How do you feel valued? It's really important to be able to figure that out. What makes you feel valued? Because I have a really important question for you as soon as you can acknowledge it. So Dana and Charlotte, or you can like unmute and you can tell me what it is. Some of us, it takes a long time to figure it out, right?
I don't know if you can see me. Hi, this is Shar.
Hey,
Hey, I like acts of service. I think that's just my gift. That's my thing to do. And I like it when someone does it for me too, out of the clear blue. It's not really planned. My husband is really good about, bringing me coffee or do you need more beverage? That's his love language, I guess, is acts of service. And I've been told that that's mine too, which, didn't realize that. But it makes sense because when I watch the grands who are my married to the man grands, they're mine too. And when I go over there, I think of her as a daughter, and I just like, what did I always need when I had little ones running around? I needed acts of service. I needed somebody just to not sit down and let me serve them coffee, but let's pick up toys and let's chat as we go. And so I just think it's all good for everybody to have acts of service.
Wow.
I love that. I love that.
Here, a puppy.
Oh, that's okay. Who else? Who else wants to share? You can just unmute yourself. Or you can write it. Let's see. Okay, Sharon said words of affirmation. So interesting that you say that. I'm just gonna say something. So everybody's love language, I'm sure you guys have heard of the love language book. Everybody's love language is not the same. So mine being words of affirmation, not words of affirmation, I was reading. Mine being acts of service. If I do acts of service because that's what I want, if I do acts of service to like my husband, he doesn't receive it the same way. He is words of affirmation and quality time. That is exactly what if I give him my time and I just, have words of affirmation with him, and he's also physical touch, but we're going to take physical touch out for the team. But if I do acts of service, it almost irritates him because he doesn't see that I'm even caring about him that much. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I did this for you and I did that for you. No, doesn't matter. If I were to buy him something, it wouldn't matter. So if you guys know and identify what it is that makes you feel valuable, what do you think your team needs? And are you giving it to them? Because shout outs, that might not be exactly what everybody needs. Lately, I have been told that, I haven't made someone feel valuable, or a couple of people. And it just like, what? I mean, just made me like scratch my head. I'm like, well, what do you mean? I mean, I said this, I've done this, I've done that. And then I'm like, wait a second. If you really get to know your team, if you really get to know your leaders, if you really get to know people and how they tick, you should know what their love language is. And I know this person's love language, and I have not been able to do it. And it's time. And whenever you learn their language, they're going to stay around more. They're going to buy from you more. And I'm not saying make every one of your customers take a love language test, but I'm saying ask them questions. That is a great question that you could ask someone is, what makes you feel valued? Because it's not a Cincy question, but it's something that actually will help you get to know the person. So when I had this thing happen, this weekend, and I was talking to the value, I was looking up, obviously, the definition first. And it says the value is a person, principles, or a behavior of one's judgment of what is important in life. And then it's how someone measures their worth. And we go to Enneagrams, right? What kind of Enneagram we are and what helps us measure worth. And for me, I'm a 3, and I measure my worth by success. And if I'm not successful in something, I beat myself up, right? 2s that are helpers, they measure themselves by the people that they can help. And if no one wants their help, or they feel like they don't count, they don't matter, they get really depressed. 1s are all about organization and everything being perfect. And if it's not perfect, then they don't feel like they're worthy. So I could keep going on and on and on. But every single one of us have something that makes us feel valuable. And if we're not getting it from somewhere in our life, then a lot of times we get stuck. And if you're not getting it in your business, you're going to look for other places to go. You're going to jump to a different direct sales, group, or maybe, go find something else because you're not feeling it. People stay because of the people. They don't necessarily just stay because of the company. There's been so many times I've been so mad at Cincy. How many, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. They sold out in 5 minutes. What are they thinking? Right. But the people and the culture and the way that they always make it right, and they make us feel valuable as consultants, that's why we stay. But if we were just like working at Walmart and something happened, I mean, we'd be like, well, you know what, Target's hiring, and so is Kmart or whatever else is out there. We jump ship really fast. And that is why a lot of our customers jump ship really fast. And I think it's important to talk about this because I hear, oh, they stole my customer, or oh, they did this, or oh, they did that. Now, yes, you can blatantly steal a customer. I know that. But ultimately, it is up to the customer who they go to. And they are going to go to where they feel valued. They might go to once or twice because somebody gave them something extra free, or they kicked in something. But if that doesn't continue, they're not going to stay there. It happens every single time. And when I look at the team and I look at the retention and I look at who's staying and how long they've been here, I'm like, what kind of value are they getting from me as a leader? So before we go into this whole, what are your relationships with your customers, and, how often they buy from you and all the business, jargon. Let's look at your relationships with them. Why do they buy from you? There's a reason, right? And we are always one customer away from having a good day. We can be having the crappiest day ever, and then we can check our PWS and somebody bought $75 from us, and we're on top of the world all of a sudden because we measured our worth by, oh my gosh, they chose me, right? Or we might not be recruiting, and all of a sudden we get a new recruit. And we're like, oh, everything's great now. Now I'm gonna be the best sponsor in the world. We're just one teammate away and one customer away from changing our day sometime. But we should not have to do that when we know. And one thing about giving and making people feel valuable is that you're not supposed to expect anything in return. So when I send out team recognition or gifts or whatever I send out, and people do not post it and they don't tag me and they don't message me and say, oh, thank you so much for sending this. Yeah, it used to bother me. But then I understood I'm adding value here. Doesn't matter if it doesn't come back. As long as I'm consistent and I keep doing it because I know I'm changing their day. Now, there are some people that I have sent things to that doesn't feel worthy of what I sent them. And I know that because I talked to them. I'm like, I'm just curious, you got this really big award and, you didn't share it with your customers. I don't even care if you tag me. I don't even care if you mention my name. But why won't you let your customers know? And they're like, I don't know, almost embarrassed because they're scared they're going to call attention to them or they don't feel like they're worthy of it. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? So people are watching what you're doing. They're watching how you add value to people. They are going to be the people who are going to be your next teammates that are just watching you on Facebook. Whenever I saw somebody, I think it was Angie Williams, she was posting all these things that her family was doing around Christmas, I think it was. But it wasn't just at Christmas. It continued like all throughout the year. Little things that, this month our team is going to give back here. This month our team's going to do this month. And I want to start doing that. I want to start doing like a give back. If we do have an house meeting again and we have tip day like we're planning on doing in March, maybe we'll bring cans to take to the homeless. Maybe we'll bring books that we can go and fill a book thing up. But I want to do something that makes a difference and adds value. And I thought my word this year was ready to do it all. And I even said that at World Tour. But something just impacted me on Saturday and Sunday to where I knew my word's value. And it's like, it doesn't matter, what I do in this business or how great of a year I have. If I don't add value, then it's not going to matter because I'm not going to get to where I need to go anyway if I don't start adding value. And it's going to be that way with your customers because we have a phenomenal catalog coming out. And they can go and they can buy from anybody. So you have this whole month to where don't go ahead and rush the new things. Don't be like, oh, let me just go ahead and get orders for March. Build those relationships this month and get those relationships going because we were challenged, to like reach out to some people whenever we were at World Tour and do like a booking blitz kind of thing. And we were using a different kind of script. And I realized I did get some parties, obviously, because they were the ones that were always partying with me. But the ones that I thought for sure might want to do something actually was like, not yet. And I realized, wait, this is too transactional. I got to go back. And I stopped and I was like, hey, you know what? I am actually at a booking blitz right now. That is why you got that message because I project broadcasted it. And I was like, so let me just stop. How are you? Are you doing okay? Because I knew that she was going through some things. And one thing about the project broadcast was I didn't know anything that was going on Facebook because I just sent it out on Project Broadcast. And this girl, I couldn't believe it. I met her in Edenton, but she actually has been diagnosed with 4th stage cancer and is going through all kinds of things. And I sent her a thing about booking a party with me. That was just so gross to me. And I was just like, I am so sorry. I'm actually at a conference and I know that did not make you feel valuable. And I am so, so sorry. She was like, it's okay, it's okay. And we just started to be able to build that relationship. And then I saw the ones that like ghosted me or stopped me or whatever. And I reached back out to them again and let them know, hey, I was at a conference. We were having a booking blitz. We were trying to see how it would work. And I apologize. Yes, some people said yes. I think I had 5. The other ones, though, I think I spaced them further away from me and I kind of killed some of the momentum of being able to have a relationship with them by doing something like that. So we don't want to be spammy. We don't want to do that kind of stuff. And I've done a really good job in the last day or two messaging the people that I feel like I might have alienated a little bit. Now, some people that buy from you all the time and you talk to them and you have that relationship, the booking blitz would have been fantastic. But I sent it to my whole project broadcast people I hadn't even talked to in a while. I don't know how smart that was. So, with talking about value, another thing that I learned about value was that it's all right, to send your Scentsy samples, and it's great to send your scent circles and things like that. Do it every now and then, no problem. But you need to send them something else too, or instead that does show them value, right? So, for example, something perfect this time of year was I got a whole bunch of leprechaun and shamrock stickers, all kinds of fun stickers. I bought like a whole thing off of Amazon. And so every single envelope that's going to go out between, every month this year, I have a theme for each one that's kind of flat that I can send. So it's not going to cost me an arm and leg. The only ones that I really spend a lot of money on are either my clubbers, if I have clubbers, and the new catalog. So when the new catalog comes out, I usually send out the 10 new scents and some information about that, which I do have some of those templates that I will put on our page. So you guys will have them. But normally I'll just send out something, and I just want to do something that makes them feel good, right? So I figured that I was going to do something about wishing or luck or something fun, like playing on those words with like some shamrocks or those leprechaun stickers or something around the Irish, tradition. There's even a really cute poem that I could actually print out with the shamrock that would add value. The next month is April. Everybody's starting to plant things. I could probably get a little pack of seeds that I could put into a thing with a really cute poem about growing. And I know these things are going to mean the world to people because I've done it before and I've stopped doing it for a while because I fed into the whole transactional, like, if they don't buy from me, if I don't do it now, I'm going to lose them. But I realized I'm keeping them in the long run if I'm doing these things. And I had 2 random orders like last week, and I messaged them and asked them, how did you find me? And they were like, one of my friends told me about you. And she told me you're a really good consultant, and she's in Georgia. And then I had somebody else from Texas that messaged me and ordered from me. And I'm like, how did you find me? I want to thank the person who referred you. And it was actually a past consultant that wasn't even like on our team. It was someone who was a past consultant way back. But she said she just watched and she'd seen things and she just felt like that I would be a good match. So people are always, always watching. Forget me not seed packets. Oh, yeah, that would be great. The forget me nots. I would like that. Autumn said, just reaching out to check on me when someone jumps in to help when they notice me struggling or ask how they can help me. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's your acts of service then, I guess. Because when I go dark, when I'm like the other day I left Facebook for a while, I had to. And a girl named Elizabeth, that's not even on our team, messaged me. She's like, are you okay? And I wasn't. I'll be honest with you. I was not okay. And I was just like, hey, thank you for message out. Because I think I said something like I'm leaving Facebook, text me. Because there was a lot of stuff going on. And I needed to get off. I was even gonna delete my Facebook account. I was not happy. And she's just like, never has ever reached out to me before. But she decided to because she was like, I just gotta check on you. Are you okay? And I was like, wow, that means a lot to me. And I had something going on and she happens to be in horse world too. And she was just like, how can I help? I was like, wow, this meant a lot. God gave me a kiss that day that I absolutely needed. And then when that lady told me about the mentor thing about being a good student because I asked what I had done wrong. So when we're doing these things with our customers and we're having these conversations, they're looking at you when you ask them, how can I be a better, consultant to you? How can I serve you better? Is there anything that you can give me some feedback that would make me better? That is huge for them to hear that from you because you're saying I'm not perfect, right? I'm not a perfect consultant. So I would love for some feedback back. People love to hear that and they love to be part of it. And there was one thing I used to add, it was a little thing, gosh, it was years and years ago. I don't even do it anymore, but it was a cute little tag. And when I would deliver laundry, and I think Brittany Clapp made it, and I might still have it in my files, but it was the cutest thing. When I would deliver laundry or washer whiffs, or if somebody were to get it in their club, I would send them this thing about how to get all these stains out. And it was like a little guide of different stains that you could get out of clothes. Not that big a deal, right? Oh, it was huge. People started buying laundry like crazy. And I had this really big party and I gave out this little thing and it was like ketchup and ink and all these things. And I think the girl ended up joining. She did. And a bunch of her friends that were already, buying from me ended up buying from her. And I think I just totally forgot about it. But that was something that was like huge, that added a lot of value that I didn't even realize was adding a lot of value. So what I'm saying is that they remember those kind of things when they got their order. It wasn't just the laundry. It was, hey, here's some ideas on how to use the counter clean, or here's some ideas on how to get stains out. It was like using alcohol and using all these different things to get stains out. And I remember one lady booked a party with me and said that she booked her party with me because she actually kept that in her laundry room and it reminded her to call me because she needed something. So it's the smallest little things that people are going to do. You can get magnets, like really flat magnets that you can make on Vistaprint with inspirational sayings with like your name and your number on it. Or you don't even have to have your name and number because maybe you don't want to make it about marketing, even though you can write it off, but maybe you don't even want to put your name because they're going to know who sent it to them. And I used to do that. I used to have one for every month. And there's a lot of things that I did when people asked me, how did you grow your business? And I have to really, really sit and think about it. I did all kinds of things like that. And why did I stop doing it? And I think it's because I just got so busy and so focused on what was going on over here and how I can be as good as this person when I was fine where I was. I didn't need to get in their lane. I didn't need to go do the things that they were doing and change everything up when it was totally working for me. So that's one thing I really want you guys to do is I want you to say, this is when I had success. What was I doing when I had the success and am I doing it now? And if I'm not having success, what can I do to add value right now? And I know I told you guys and I challenged you, to do those charts about the customer stuff, but you have got to do that. If you want this business to grow, you've got to do this relationship building. I was listening to a couple of things at World Tour also, and maybe some other people have some aha moments from World Tour. But one of the things was Sarah Walker went up there and was talking about, glimmer, a glimmer in her life. And I have experienced things in my life that trigger me to feel a certain way. And when I use the word trigger, I usually mean it in a negative connotation, not a positive. If I get triggered, it's not good. And she said that instead of like having triggers or whatever, that there's glimmers. So she started to look for the glimmers. And it's basically like God's kisses. A lot of us call that the glimmers in our life. And I left Saturday thinking that is the coolest thing ever, is looking for the glimmers instead of the triggers. Because I'll tell myself sometime, I don't even want to message that person. They're going to say no. They're going to say no. You know why? Because I totally forgot their light bulb last time. They are not going to even want to order from me. I'm just going to skip them. Instead of me saying, hey, you know what? I have a new catalog and I realized I forgot to drop off your light bulb last time. I totally forgot and I am so sorry. Do you still need it? And I got another one. Okay, well, I got it from Walmart. It didn't work. Or maybe like I got it from another consultant. Well, I hope that consultant is taking really good care of you. Oh, I haven't heard from her. I mean, I'm going to do something to where I'm always going to go back and own what it is that I did wrong if I'm going to go and I'm going to message people. for the team, if there is something that you are not getting from your directors or me or your upline in any way, shape, or form, you need to let us know, but it's not our place to make you, how can I say this without it sounding weird? But I don't want you to measure your worth of what I think of you. I don't want you to measure your worth by what anyone thinks of you. I remember I was sitting at the table with somebody one time, and we were at Superstar Director Summit, and she was like, "Oh, I don't think Heidi and Orville will like me anymore." And she was literally in tears. And I was like, excuse me, are you measuring your worth whether Heidi and Orville like you? And she would kind of was like, yeah, that's kind of silly, isn't it? I'm like, yeah. Do you know how much work you have? You have an amazing YouTube channel that you have changed many consultants' life. You have stood on stage at convention and you have changed lives there. You are constantly showing us how you're working your business. You've added people to your group page. You're showing how you can be a new mom and do all these things. Who cares? And it's probably not even the fact that they don't even like you. It's probably the fact that they have such a busy, busy life. And they have now how many consultants over COVID? A lot, to where they might not be able to show the attention that they were to you at that time because we've grown so much. She's like, oh, yeah, that's true. And changed her mindset like that. So the cool thing about Scentsy is there are so many YouTubes that you can watch, even though there's some I would not watch. But there are trainings on the workstation. There are other directors that you can actually collaborate with if yours is not doing it for you. If you don't like the food I'm feeding you, you can go sit at another table and let them feed you. And it would not hurt my feelings because I know I'm not for everybody. And if I'm not adding value, or if you don't feel valued, you got to figure out what it is that makes you feel valued, that makes you want to stay in this community, because this community is amazing. And another thing, I met a girl the other day named Nicole, and we got along fantastic. And I realized I'd met her one time before. But the one time before that I met her, she was in a really bad mood. She'd gone through something really bad. I had no idea. But somebody introduced her to me, and she was kind of like, kind of standoffish. And I remember leaving her going, oh, I don't think I like her. Got in my car, drove off. I don't think I like her. Well, second time I meet her, we get along so great. And she's like, I actually met you before. I'm like, really? When? And she was like, I was at this girl's house and she introduced us and then you were leaving. And I was like, oh my gosh, I had already told myself that I didn't think I was going to get along with you. And she goes, I was having a really bad day. I had gotten really bad news. So I'm really sorry. So you got to think about that too, because there's times that you'll go to SFR and you'll run into people who maybe that you've idolized or you've been wanting to talk to, and maybe they've had a really bad day and they didn't give you that, oh, let's get a selfie, or oh, let's sit down and, talk for a few minutes. And you're like, oh, they're horrible people, when everybody has something that's going on in their life. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because you have to when we do our team sheets and it says like, what's your favorite candy? What's your favorite drinks? What is your love language? What are all these things? We need to know these things because we can't read minds. And there are some people that we shout out all the time. We send gifts, we do all the things, and they're like, I don't feel valued. I'm going to look what that team's doing. They're doing this, this, and this. And we don't even know because they're not told. We're not told. So as you grow a team, as you start to grow in Scentsy, you have got to learn about your teammates. Somebody was also saying the other day about a passion. So let's go back to Heidi, where she talked about the power of one. It takes one person. I don't know if you've ever seen the video. I was gonna put it on here and show it to you guys, but I couldn't find it. But it's one person. They're on a grassy hill and they're at a outside concert where they're listening to music. And that one person just starts dancing and just singing and dancing and everything. And the next thing you know, there's two people doing it. And the next thing you know, there's four people doing it. And the next thing you know, there's a whole bunch of people doing it. It just takes one sometime. And then we saw another thing that when we were in leadership, and you guys have may have seen this, and I'm going to find it. I'm going to put it on the team page because it will bring tears to your eyes. But there's a girl, tell me if you've seen this or not. There's a girl who has set up a camera and she's out in the middle of Central Park in New York, and there are random people that are running. And what's interesting is she's mic'd, and they didn't know that she's mic'd. So she'll be like, "Hey, can I run with you?" They'll say, "Yeah." So she's running with them. "Hey, what's your name?" And she's telling them their name. And she's like, "Oh, okay. Well, what do you do?" And she's telling them what she does. And like, "Well, what is?" And they just start talking because they're running for about like 10 minutes together, where this person has almost told them their whole world. What she doesn't know, it's about 10, 15 minutes. What they don't know is that there's other people in the sidelines that have blank banners where they're writing the person's name on there. And so whenever they get to the very end of the race, or not even the race, but when they get to the end, they'll see their banners and their name everywhere. And they're like, "What is going on?" And they're like, "Yes, yes, way to go, Amy. Oh my gosh, that's incredible." And then they put like glow sticks on them and a little crown, like, "You did it." And it is incredible to see what that did for someone and how everybody would just start running together. So when you are a leader and you have a passion for something, or maybe you have a cause that you believe in so, so much, you're not going to be able to really give that cause everything you have unless you have a team behind you that helps you. If you have a passion for something because God's calling you to something, think about how much bigger it will be if you have a team behind you to get to that passion. There's so many people that are like, "No, I don't need a team. Yeah, I got this calling in my heart, and I'm just going to do this, and I'm just going to keep giving back to this nursing home, or I'm going to keep doing this, I'm going to keep doing that." I'm like, if you had a team and they bought into that vision with you, and they knew that it was for the good for all of you guys, can you imagine how big that would be? Like, yeah, that is why we grow teams. That is why we know that we can make a difference together. But they're not going to believe in your vision. They're not going to follow you in your passion and your purpose if they don't feel valued. And it's something that I have to go back and I have to look at every single person that, I've talked to and just say, "You know what? How am I adding value to their life?" Because it's important to me to do that. I think a lot of you guys know that, and you know my heart in this. But I want you to look at your team and I want you to think, are you making them feel valued too? Some people are leaving left and right, and we don't know why. And then when we do the exit interviews, and I'll do exit interviews, if there is someone that has come on our team and they have left us, I will call them and tell them, "Hey, look, we're going to miss you. If you decide to come back, you can come back after this long, right? But I do an exit interview, and can you tell me why you left? Because it'll help me be a better leader, and maybe it will help me learn from the next person." And sometimes they say some things that I don't like, but I have to swallow it because it's their feelings and they have a right to feel that way. And sometimes there are things that maybe they had a miscommunication about. But I take those notes, I write it beside them, I take care of them as a VIP, or I do what I can to be able to feel valued, make them feel valued. And sometimes they come back and sometimes they do not. Sometimes I've forgotten about them. Just like there's a thing on that chart where some people just don't want to buy Scentsy, some people just don't want to sell Scentsy, and it's okay. Leave them alone. Show them value in other areas of their life. I remember beginning 2 years ago, Christmas party in Winterville. Here's where I met a person, my fave, Instagrammer, Michelle Robinson Hall. She chatted and we hugged, and I love her inspirational posts. I also love not all of them are about Scentsy, your virtual girlfriend. She adds value to my life. Oh, she is amazing. She's absolutely amazing. She's not on here tonight because she had some stuff going on, but that's really sweet. That'd mean the world to her. So that was what I wanted to talk about tonight, was value. And when you get off of here, I just really want you to just sit with yourself for a little bit and ask yourself, how am I making my team feel valuable? And if you don't have a team, how are you making your customers feel valuable? Because those customers are going to be your new team. Most of them will join you if you ask them and you have the right relationship with them and they see something that adds value in their life that they want to be part of. There were some people that joined our team when we went to Virginia. We had a retreat and we used this magical talking hat that Harry Potter has that Sharon Birmingham had brought. And we went live and we were just showing it and everything. And there was a lot of fun to it. I had 2 people join because they wanted to be part of that, right? And then I saw that they would fallen off. And I messaged them and I was like, hey, you joined, you were really excited about it, you put in your 200 and but then, you never put in anything again. I'm just curious, what happened? And she goes, it was no fun. It wasn't fun. I'm like, it wasn't fun. And she's like, no, because whenever I thought y'all got those together all the time and y'all did those kind of things. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And during the time it was COVID, if I remember correctly, it was COVID and we had a retreat in the middle of COVID, or we were all virtual. That's why we did it, because it was virtual SFR. We couldn't even do a lot of get-togethers. And it made me think, okay, going in 2024, we'll start having our get-togethers again. We'll start having those connections that people need to be a part of. And I let her know, and she said she's probably gonna come back because it was seeing those kind of things that she was missing, and that obviously added value to her. So if you've had people leave, maybe do a exit interview with them. Ask them, hey, I know that you left 3 years ago. Can I ask you why you left? Because this is going to help me train the next person. Can I put you in my VIP and, start loving on you that way, serving you that way? Because a lot of people are forgotten about when they leave Cincy, and then they don't want to come back because they know that they feel as if they failed some way, somehow, and then we never made them feel valuable. So that's really important too. But that's what I wanted to talk about tonight because it was really on my heart. And I figured we could just do the other stuff, which is like all income producing stuff. It's going to help you. And yeah, you get some parties, and yeah, you'll get some new stuff out there. But you're going to really, really, really need to dig deep to be able to say, why do you want to make a difference in other people's lives? If it's all about the money, that's one thing. But I know most of you guys, and I know you guys want to make a dent in this world and know that you made a difference in someone's life. I know that for a fact about every one of you guys. Or you wouldn't do the things you do, and you wouldn't show up the way you show up. And I want you to ask yourself, are you doing exactly what it is that you said you wanted to do? And if you're not, then why not? And what are you scared of? Because some people just need to hear from you and just need to have a positive thing whispered to them, sent to them, showed to them, whatever. And it will make all the difference in the world. And then we'll go to the next stuff next time. So, does anybody have anything to say? That is a little heartfelt tonight, but I just really felt like it was something I was supposed to talk about. But does anybody need anything to share? Or I was reading down here. I don't see anything right now. So, Aaron did say what makes me feel valued is when someone will post my business page or my personal page and they tell me that they may not comment on my post, but they really are grateful that I do because it helps them through the week. It was a warming thing to know that they may not be commenting, but they are paying attention. I'm telling you, people are watching. It's unbelievable. Someone else said, no, I'm not pushing myself hard enough, but after World Tour, I got my kick and now I'm turning it up. So this is the year for relationships and connections. This is it. People have not had it for a very long time, and they need to hear it more than ever right now, because I believe we are going to build bigger than we've ever built. And some of you guys that are scared to sponsor, you got to start out by just building those relationships and making people feel valuable. And the way that you do that, and I wrote some things down, was one, know what they do best. If they are great at crafts, let them know, hey, when we do our next tip day, this is something we made. Or maybe you don't even live here and you could invite them over and y'all could have a craft together, because that's obviously their love language. And then you could be like, you know how we could do this in Cincy? This is how I make crafts for my customers. And that would be something. Or if they're really good at marketing and they're really good at graphics, wow, you would be great at what I do, because look at all these graphics and everything that you make. Know what people do best. Use their first name. That's one thing. Identify and solve problems for them. If they're having a problem, they need something picked up, like bringing them Dunkin' Donuts because they can't leave work, right? Or going and picking something up for somebody, or whatever it is that they need. Solving problems go a really long way. That is a way that you can definitely add value. And then, like I said, helping others. I mean, there's just like a lot of ways that you can do things. And if you exceed people's expectations of you, it's a really big deal. Like, wow, they really went beyond and above what I thought they ever would. You ever had someone who's looking for a warmer? Like, I don't have it. But then you go onto the page and you're like, does anybody have this warmer? Somebody has it. Then you message the person back and you're like, okay, I didn't have it, but I found it from this person. Like, oh my gosh. Well, I'm going to definitely use you again because you went beyond and above. what I thought you would do. So add value to people. So that's it. Does anybody have anything to share? If not, we'll get out of here a little bit early. All right. Well, the word is value. Write the word value underneath our Zoom tonight so that you get a little something from me. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll talk to you later. Bye.